All right, everybody. So we got what happened today's gone too.
It's been over 5 years since Ben's studio released Days Gone into the public, and it hasn't really been smooth sailing ever since. The game launched to pretty mixed reviews from critics. 4s, 5s, and 6s seem to be where most critics settled on. On the other hand, audience scores
Days gone. Like the wait for that game was so dang long, and it really wasn't even worth the wait. Like the gameplay was fire, but folks for real waited like 4, 5 years for that game. That had to been like Naughty Dog's worst game. I ain't even gonna cap. The gameplay was fire, but the cutscenes weren't all that. But the gameplay overall was fire. I'd probably give it like I'd give the gameplay an 8, but as far as the cutscenes and everything, it wasn't it, fam. But the wait was too long for like what the game was.
are generally more favorable of this title. And it seems like it's one of those instances where critic scores and user scores are so misaligned from one another that it makes you question if they play the same game. I mean, it does happen pretty often in gaming. Movies, especially, critics say it's a masterpiece, then you go and watch the steaming pile of shit that is The Last Jedi. But as time progresses, there's been this ever growing support from fans, creators, and even people within the gaming industry itching for Deacon's story to continue. Fans of the zombie genre, including
Mm,
myself, we praise Days Gone.
I could care less if Days Gonna get a part two, but if it did, I mean, I hope Naughty Dog fix a lot of the stuff that was wrong with this one. As far like it's like I said, the gameplay was fire, but the cutscenes was just trash, dude.
One of its own. The game helped push it to new lengths, offering a refreshing take with the involvement of the motorcycle and, of course, those intense hordes. The game
And when
was
I say the cutscenes, I mean like the NPCs, like the characters that don't really matter, like them folks, like the innocent bystanders. Like, why do all of them look like they had downs or something? But the overall gameplay, like I said,
praise from the
I
community
give it an
for
8.
bringing a grounded and realistic take on the zombie apocalypse. Something that we don't really see anymore. Or if they try to do it, it's just not as good. But despite all of that positive feedback, the fact of the matter is, Days Gone 2, it's currently dead in the water. It's been canceled, and its future, it's in limbo. The cancellation of Days Gone 2 is such a complex issue.
Bro, it took them so long with part one.
Fact
It took them so long with part one, and it was okay. But a part two, bro, Naughty Dog gonna take as long as Rockstar do, like making a Grand Theft Auto game. But I'm not even fiending for a part two. A lot of people, I don't know why. I wouldn't care about a part two from this game.
and theories that provide insight into why a sequel was never greenlit. There is not one clear definitive answer as to why it was. Some say it was due to development issues, mixed reactions, sales numbers, politics, and plenty more. And today, we'll be diving into the topic to truly discover why Days Gone 2 was canceled. A game whose original takes place in Oregon. We got it this time. Takes place in Oregon will never happen as of now. And before we do proceed, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are aiming for 100k subs by the end of the year. And also please do drop a like, it goes a really long way. If you want to see me do another Days Gone video on this channel, get this video to 5,000 likes and I'll deliver. Now, blatant self-promotion aside,
Just
let's
realized
begin,
I need to
shall
have
we?
it in
We both
the
know that's
whole full
impossible.
screen.
I won't do it.
There's nobody else I
My
trust.
fault,
What you're
everybody.
Asking is insane.
I'm not asking.
It's a suicide mission.
Then prepare for death.
You've lost your mind.
This is a direct order, detective. Get in line.
I think it's worth mentioning what Days Gone 2 could have been. And I'm going to be using a bunch of different interviews, videos, all that shit will be linked down below. Based off of an interview with one of the game directors of Days Gone 2 was meant to continue and further the story of Deacon and Sarah. The sequel was intended to explore the relationship dynamics between the two.
Y'all see how fire that gameplay is? Like the gameplay is fire, but the cutscenes was just trash. Like they was vague, bro.
Yes, they're back together, but are they happy? Is there any resentment between the two here was someone clapping cheeks behind closed doors. It's the zombie
Oh wow.
apocalypse. Things get lonely out here. Hey, how's it going? There was going to be a major focus on a strong, heavy narrative. The bike would of course stay, that's kinda the foundation of this game, but the story would also lean more into the Nero tech side of things. The director aimed to fix various things such as story pacing, AI, the poor boss fights, and of course, the garbage forced stealth sections. The game director of Days Gone knew that the original suffered from many problems, and they wanted their chance to show their hand in the sequel. Like I said, the original, it had a solid foundation, and it set up perfectly for more stories and games to be told. Furthermore, they wanted to push beyond some of the technical limitations that they ran into with the first game. They wanted to add in various things, such as more attention to detail, and make the world feel more alive, especially with its wilderness. They wanted to add things such as bears digging through trash cans, wolves roaming and hunting around more dynamically. They also wanted to add in a better swimming system for Deacon. Lord knows how incredible the swimming system in the original was. What the fuck? What the fuck? Whoa! The sequel would have also had a persistent shared world with co-op gameplay mechanics. It would have been this multiplayer version of this universe. Would have been awesome, actually. Players would get to experience so many different things, and you would run into people like Deacon trying to survive, possibly building up their safe house or their crew, kind of similar to something seen in State of Decay, I would say. That's kind of the best way I could put this as my interpretation based off of what I've read. Horde battles would of course be returning, but this time in a cooperative setting. It would have offered a new perspective and unique layer to the gameplay, as you needed to incorporate another one's movement into yours. And honestly, Days Gone 2 was shaping up to be something incredible. It sounds like a solid improvement from the original.
Something else Naughty Dog should do with Days Gone 2 if they do make one, the dismemberment, like how they got on The Last of Us, they need to add that to Days Gone. Cause the zombies and all the other characters, they didn't really dismember like that. And I know that may sound crazy or gory, but that's just my opinion.
And a lot of what we just went over got fans and the core community super excited about the next game. Fans got super excited and they started drafting up their own concept arts and even titles. A title started gaining steam amongst the community, and many people
Bro, y'all
started
gonna be
posting
waiting
games
for
like
Days
this
Gone 2
since
if
Days
Naughty
Gone
Dog
2,
do that.
The Broken Road. The phrase Broken Road, it started out as this catchphrase during the original's marketing, various videos, articles, and series, all pointing towards Deacon navigating himself.
And another reason I say they probably won't make a Days Gone 2 is because Naughty Dog know good and well they gonna get the most sales from The Last of Us Part 3 compared to a Days Gone 2. And the fans want The Last of Us Part 3 over a Days Gone 2. Like, let's be real, fam. Like, I ain't saying Naughty Dog straight up like Rockstar, where the only thing they care about their bread. But Naughty Dog, they do make great games, and the story, everything be fire about them, about every Naughty Dog game except Days Gone, because they didn't really care about the cutscenes like that, but the gameplay was fire. But Naughty Dog know they're gonna get more sales from The Last of Us Part 3 compared to a Days Gone 2. Like, let's be real, even the fans want Last of Us Part 3 over a Days Gone 2.
Through that broken road. It's even the name of one.
And another thing is, bro, whenever Naughty Dog come out with a game, it's gonna take them a minute to develop it, get it right and everything. Cause like I said, they about like Rockstar. Like they care about their customers' opinions, but also they try to get the game out in a I say in somewhat a timely manner. Like they did take a little minute, like how long, like 5, 7 years, something like that, with The Last of Us Part 2, but it was solid. They didn't take as long as Rockstar did, but I mean, it still took them a little bit of
One
time.
of the tracks in the OST. And we've discussed this on the channel before, but we've discussed how music, themes, and everything in this game kind of reflects on his entire journey throughout the game. When Days Gone begins, his journey is unclear, and that's the broken road that he heads down. Will he continue to suffer, or will he find happiness? What is coming? Fans of the original, they keep coining up that title, The Broken Road. And creators and fans have kind of just rolled with this despite no real confirmation of this ever happening. It does make for some good titles, I have to say. I feel like at this point, it's perfect for Days Gone 2, considering the mountain and lengths fans and even the studio are going to have to climb in order to get this sequel approved. that broken road kind of, it's like a metaphor for if this sequel ever gets made. Because that road, it's really long and harsh, especially because of how development went for the original. Back in 2021, games journalist Jason Schreier, he reported that Bend Studio had allegedly pitched a Days Gone sequel to Sony, but it was turned down due to its lengthy and expensive development.
Had to make sure I still recording everybody. My fault.
And also with reviews not being so positive, the future was looking incredibly grim. But more on that later. It was also stated that the Days Gone development team, it grew from 45 people to 120, which resulted in the budget being much higher than originally anticipated. This could have been a major factor in Sony's decision here, because video games are incredibly expensive. The Last of Us Part 2 was over $220 million. Oh, look at all those resources, look at all those employees. Not one of them could write a good story for it. Horizon Forbidden West was over $200 million, hundreds of employees, and not a single one decided to delay their game by a week so they didn't have to compete with Elden Ring. While the budget for Days Gone was never made public, numerous sources state that the final budget number was incredibly higher than originally anticipated. This, alongside a super lengthy development process filled with delays, is a pretty big reason for Sony to not really entertain a sequel here. However, if you only looked at the game's sales numbers, you would think the opposite. The game appeared to be quite a major hit. Days Gone topped the UK sales charts for 3 weeks, and it was the second best-selling game in the US at that time, coming in after Mortal Kombat 11. And the recent Insomniac leak revealed that the game sold 7.32 million copies on PlayStation and another 1.7 million copies on Steam as of February 2023. More than 9 million copies total is honestly
Bro, cause back in like 2013, cause like I said, everybody was seeing Days Gone and stuff online, but it was just like some leaked gameplay that Naughty Dog had put out there. And I ain't gonna lie, like the gameplay looked fire, which the gameplay is fire, bro, but I don't know. I don't feel like I should make a Days Gone Part 2. I feel like the first one,
That's not really something to
it's
brush off
enough.
at. Days Gone had some pretty solid sales numbers. They're all well documented. But unfortunately, so is its critical response. Many reviewers claim the game to be middling, citing an uninteresting open world, largely meaningless exploration, and a curious lack of polish for a Sony-published title. For reference, the original release on PlayStation for Days Gone is sitting at a 71 on Metacritic, while other PlayStation exclusives like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War 2018, and Death Stranding, they're in the range of 82 to 94. And as a company that built its reputation on blockbuster single-player games that garner rave reviews in addition to record-breaking sales, the lukewarm critical reception at launch to Days Gone was very clearly not up to Sony's standards. This, alongside the lengthy and expensive development for the original, is not really a good sign for Broken Roads here. As of March 2024, there has not been an official stated reason for Sony's decision to not go forward with a Days Gone 2. It could have been the expensive extended development, Sony's obsession with high Metacritic scored games, or something else entirely. All we really have to go off of is speculation. But that's just a theory. As time has passed, both of the Days Gone directors have taken to social media to air out their grievances. Similarly, fans of the game have rallied for a sequel in the form of a petition, which has more than 220,000 signatures as of March 10th. A happy Mario Day! Like I've said, there's been this ever-growing support from fans and creators.
They for real got a petition for this joint.
Reviews at launch was due to how buggy and glitchy the game was. Now, 5+ years later, most of those issues have been ironed out. The game has been polished and it's in the best state it's ever been.
Bro, they do need to make the hordes a little bit more bigger, bro.
Alive longer than anyone imagined. I mean, there's over 2,500 people playing right now on Steam. The Payday 3 developers wish they could have that. I do want to say, when I did my Days Gone review, which you can watch right here or there, depending on where I put it, I noticed a re-emerging pattern that so many people believe to contribute to the sequel's failure. And it actually refers back to something called politics. I try really hard to keep things like politics away from this YouTube channel, but I think in this circumstance, it is worth mentioning at least. Many fans believe that politics played a pretty major role into the game's failure, particularly the whole white male protagonist argument. Back in March of 2019, roughly a month and a half before its release, an article from a critic discussed that argument, and since then, the lines have kind of blurred when it came to critical opinion for Days Gone, and the belief that came afterwards is that critics mainly did not like this game because of that. And then a few years later, we had one of the game directors kind of further that flame and conversation along by saying woke reviewers and tech issues were to blame for the game not getting a sequel. It was honestly quite a mess here. We had a statement from Bend Studios saying that they don't believe and support the words of their former game developer. His
I
particular
ain't gonna
game
lie,
director
fam.
has
Boozer did
also
look
been
like
on
he
the
could
hot seat
be
in the past
a
because
little,
he did tell
little
fans that if
racist,
they
fam.
really
I ain't
loved
gonna
Days
lie.
Gone,
Just
they
based off
should have
how he
purchased it
looked,
at
but
full price. If they
that's
really,
just
really
dumb. They
loved it
just
and wanted a
saying
sequel,
stuff.
they should have bought it at launch. Yeah.
You love a game, buy it at full price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, "Yeah, I got that on sale."
But
or
how
got
do
it
you
through
know
PS
you
Plus
love a
or whatever."
game until you've played it?
I'm just saying you don't, but don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it wasn't supported at launch.
Regardless of which side you
Facts.
fall on, it's worth mentioning that this game had a huge political arc to it, but it's worth mentioning because it may have had a say in the sequel's downfall. But what I can say is that this particular game developer, he left the studio years ago, and he's been working on this weird game that's kind of like a mixture of Days Gone and Outriders. It's
The
called
heck is
Asphalt,
this?
that has cryptocurrency and NFTs tied to it, apparently. So the likelihood of this guy coming back to ever make a Days Gone 2 with Bend Studio is incredibly slim, especially because of his words and his actions in the past. So if Broken Roads were to ever happen, it's most likely not going to be with him. But the Days Gone franchise and the Days Gone story is not coming to an end, apparently, in some sort of fashion. Because Sony's PlayStation Production Studios, they're actually in early stages of developing a Days Gone movie. It actually already has a writer attached to it, and they're currently eyeing down the main actor for the role. They're currently looking at Sam Hewitt of Homeland, Bloodshot, and Outlander to take on the role. Rather than casting Sam Witwer as Deacon St. John, it seems like they're going in a different direction here. I have thoughts on that. All things considered, this sounds pretty promising, right? Right? Well, there hasn't been any news about the Days Gone movie in over a year and a half. It's deader and sadder than my non-existent love life. But let's be optimistic. Let's say the movie production is well underway. Let's say it comes out, it's not a turd, it's not that new Madam Web movie, it's way better than that. This could actually revive the franchise, and Sony may opt in for a sequel. A successful film alongside a new video game, it simply makes sense. Sony has been pivoting to movies recently. Some are good, some are meh, some of them just never come out. Rest in peace.
Bro, Uncharted, the movie, was mid. It was mid. They missed. I feel like they should have did it like how the game was made. You know, probably start with like part one, then part two, then part three, part four, or start with part three, and then what would be after part three? Like part one? Yeah, start part three, because part three had like the backstory of Nate, and then go to part one, two, four.
My Sweet Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoon is that animation movie that I'm still waiting for, but never heard about it for the past like 10 plus years. Where is it, Sony? But on the other hand, if the movie comes out and it bombs at the box office, that could be the final nail in the coffin for the Days Gone franchise. But of course, this is all something that we're gonna have to wait and see. Now, so many different factors and reasons all contributing to why Days Gone 2 was canceled. It could be one of them, it could be all of them, or none of them. But what I can say is that Bend Studio, they're hard at work for a new IP for Sony. It doesn't seem like there's a Days Gone 2 currently in development. And both the game directors for the original have left the studio, so let's say the team does take on a possible sequel in the future, the likelihood of them having the same creative vision as shown in the original is probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be a completely different team. But despite all of this, one thing is for sure, Days Gone has absolutely made a mark in gaming history, and there's a large fan base that would be happy to see the franchise return. And if you are one of them, comment down below. You can also go to the description and sign the change.org.
I'm not one of them. But alright, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. I'm see y'all in the next one.